One of the coolest things I'll show you today, right on this table here. I try not to disturb them too much. Hey guys, how's it going? Josh here. It's been a while since my last update. After my last one, I just decided I wasn't going to focus too much on YouTube, and I was just going to focus on working and kind of my life in general. But because it's been a while, I have a lot I want to talk about today, but I figure I'll just start off by showing you guys around the nursery and what I've kind of been working on. So first, this is my seed orchard in progress currently. It might not look like much, but it's been quite a bit of work to get this all done. This landscape fabric I pinned down. I got a couple friends to help me pin it down a few months back. I actually had to redo it 3 times in total before I finally had it weighed down enough that the wind wasn't gonna blow it away when it got really windy. I've just kind of cut some holes in the fabric, put my plants in the ground in the pots for the time being. I think that's gonna be the best way. I'm really excited about these guys. These 3 are all cow parsnip or Hercleum maximum. These are the first ones I've ever been able to grow to flower. This guy's the first one that has a flower, of course. But they're actually biennials, so first year they just make some leaves, second year they flower and complete their life cycle. So pretty cool. Got some yarrow planted here, some June grass here, field chickweed, and Douglas asters back there. I got quite a few things. I won't go through everything, but some small lupines here. I'm sure next year they're going to be a lot larger, along with a lot of these plants. But yeah, it's a work in progress, and we'll keep adding to it as time goes on. Definitely not going to fill it all up this year, but for now I think it's pretty decent. I'll have some seeds I'll be able to collect. Oh, actually, I'll show you one more thing out here. Here we got some blue-eyed grass. Cicericium idahoensis. I planted them back here because it's a little bit shadier for them, which I think they'll like, and because when it rains, the water falls off the edge of the greenhouse and pools here, which gets them nice and wet here, which they'll appreciate, I'm sure. I also like it because the horsetail surrounding the bed kind of hides it from the deer. Last year, the deer ate the seed heads right before I was able to collect them. Those bastards. So this year, I'm hoping it won't happen. I should really net it off to ensure it doesn't happen, but I haven't quite gotten there yet. They also seem to like to eat the fireweed I plant too. That's another thing I'll probably have to net off at one point. Oh, we're in my greenhouse. I'm not going to show you everything because we'd be stuck here for a while. Although if you do want a picture of me showing off every single plant I have, let me know in the comments. But besides that, I'll show you some highlights. These are all woolly sunflowers in small pots. They had excellent germination for me this year, way better than last year. Like near 100% germination, close to it. Also, so I have some larger ones over here. I've potted up some yarrow, some small, some large. Douglas asters there. Some of you guys might be alarmed and be like, why are you growing dock? Because here, broadleaf dock is really invasive. However, this is not broadleaf dock. This is western dock. This is our native dock. And I actually tried eating one of these leaves the other day, and it's kind of actually weird. It has a almost like fruity aftertaste. But that's cool. They also have much prettier flowers than the broadleaf dock as well. But it's one that's not really on people's radar just because the broadleaf dock is so invasive around here. Let's see. Yeah, other than plants that are already grown, I got some pretty cool germination this year. It's a lot of trays. I still have to repot a lot. But I'm hoping I'll be able to get that done in the next couple weeks, hopefully. We'll see. Got a bunch of the annuals here. Some Clarkia. Some Plectritis here. Also, this was a surprise. These guys I planted, late winter. I didn't think they were going to come up. But just recently, this one popped up, so there's still hope. This is Sitka spruce. Actually, I didn't collect the seeds until late winter, and I just decided I would try planting them even without stratification. Maybe they got some natural stratification for being outside, just like the cones and stuff, but who knows. I only got one to germinate after all. But that's pretty cool just to see it pop up. Even if I only grow one, it at least gives me a frame of reference for how they grow and some knowledge. So I actually have 5 trays of these guys, which are Ribes sanguineum, red flowering currants. Every year I run out of them and I can't get more. So this year I was like, okay, I'm not gonna run out of them this time. I got 250 planted, so, and they're actually growing quite nicely in these plug trays. So that's good. That's one of the next things on my agenda to repot. Also got your rubises, got thimbleberry, salmonberry, trailing blackberry all growing there. Also, I managed to get 3 vine maples, Acer circinatum, to germinate. I only planted like 12 because I wasn't really hopeful for them germinating, and then 3 of them actually did, and I was like, damn it. If I knew they were actually going to germinate, I would have planted more. Also, these 3 back here, I really didn't have hope for either. I only planted a small number again, but I'm pretty sure these are red elderberry seedlings. I guess I'll know once they grow a bit more, but for now, they don't quite look like they will as adults. Got a bunch of Dicentra formosa seedlings, Pacific bleeding hearts. Because this guy's already flowering too. And that just germinated earlier in the year. And then, you know, I got a lot better germination this year on my Berberis, both Berberis nervosa, which is what this guy is, and Berberis aquifolium. You know, last year I think I only planted 12 and I got like 3 of them that germinated. There's actually one of them there. They grow pretty slowly, so probably takes a couple years to really get a mature plant I can sell. And then, also really cool, if I can get in here without breaking a pallet and destroying my plants. Oh, there goes one. These guys, here. These guys right here, this is Trillium ovatum. Trillium takes a really long time to grow, so I only planted a few of these just for fun, to experiment and learn, basically. But I'm basically going to be waiting like at least 4 to 7 years before these guys mature and I get like an actual plant. So these guys are mostly just growing here for fun, but I thought I would show you. They're not going to really do much more than this year, I don't think, but pretty cool. Anyways, as it gets closer to summer, the greenhouse gets messier and messier as I'm trying to find room to put all the plants I had to repot. So I'm kind of looking forward to summer because I'll be closed then for regular business hours. I can just utilize all the room for repotting plants instead of having a sales area / display area. Also have a few different cuttings I'm experimenting with in this area up front, along with stinging nettle that probably no one will buy. I keep growing it for the few people that will, but I might actually just plant it to collect leaves and stuff for tea and whatnot. We'll see. The other interesting couple of things here, we got false lily of the valley, this little guy here. I actually planted these seeds not this most recent winter, but the winter before that, and they didn't germinate, but I just left the tray. And this year 3 of them germinated, which I actually think I could improve that rate with what I know now. But it's pretty cool. They're really tiny. They take a long time to grow. I'm sure it'll probably be at least 2 or 3 years to get a mature plant. But it's just cool to have that knowledge. Also, out of a tray of 72 cells, I got two whole foam flowers to germinate too. So not great germination there, but you know, you learn a bit each year. And last year I tried to grow them and I got 0. So that's actually a pretty big improvement in germination. Also, one of the coolest things I'll show you today, right on this table here. I try not to disturb them too much. These are actually white-crowned sparrows that decided to nest just on my table in my greenhouse here. Trying to bug them too much because I don't want to disturb them or scare off the parents, but the parents chose this. They like to chirp at me a lot when I'm working on this side of the greenhouse. So I try to give them as much space as I can. But it's pretty cool. This greenhouse is almost like a little mini ecosystem. I get so many different critters from different insects, a lot of beneficial wasps, bees. I had garter snakes, I get tree frogs, I get birds, which makes for pretty great organic pest control. Like, you can't really beat nesting birds for pest control. Like, these guys are gathering hundreds of caterpillars every day, or other insects, but probably mostly caterpillars, to feed their babies. I think there's the dad over here, just hanging out watching me. But yeah, just want to show you guys all that stuff. So I've been trying to make this video for the last week or two, but I just have so many thoughts I want to express that it's been hard to put it out in a cohesive manner. So I wrote some notes for myself today. I'm going to try and reference, and hopefully I can edit together something that is watchable. So let's start. How is the nursery going? It's not going bad. It's not going bad, but I'm also not seeing a significant improvement either. You know, this is like basically my third year doing it. I thought I might see a significant increase in sales, and I just haven't really seen it this year. And I don't know, I have a lot of thoughts about this business in general, and I was kind of thinking how I could scale it up and make it better. I had kind of planned for it, but now I'm kind of thinking about changing my plans a bit too. Like, you know, I feel like the retail market for native plants is fairly small still. It's still a niche thing that a lot of people are learning about. And as time goes on, I think it's going to just keep on becoming more popular and hopefully more mainstream. But I also feel like the market is becoming more saturated as well here. There's a lot of like nonprofit organizations, even municipalities, that have events where they're giving away plants, or they're selling the plants at cost because they don't really need to make a profit. For those organizations at least. And I wonder if how much that affects my business, for someone that actually, you know, probably needs to charge a bit more to actually make money. So part of me is thinking about changing trajectories a bit, or downscaling the actual like plant growing and selling side, and possibly focusing more on seeds. But I haven't really made a decision yet. But there aren't really any local people where you can buy, you know, bulk or even just seed packs from. So I think that might be a good option. You know, I also think a lot about climate change and water usage and stuff like that here. And there's a lot of things that make this property not the most ideal for growing potted plants too. And so a lot of that stuff I worry about and I try to factor into my decision, because if I was just focusing on seeds mainly and maybe doing like small scale plant sales, then the seeds are a lot more like sustainable. You know, once you get the beds established, you don't really have to do anything besides a bit of maintenance to make sure like weeds don't overtake things. The other reason I'm considering moving more towards seeds is because it's a lot more economical for a lot of people. If you wanted to replace your lawn with native plants, with a meadow, that's really expensive to buy all the plants, whereas buying the seeds is a lot more economical for people. There's really a lot less competition for that at the moment, a lot less of an established market in my area, and it would just be a lot less labor for me as well. Like, all the transplanting and maintaining and keeping plants alive takes a lot of work and energy and resources. This would take a lot less resources. Most of the work would be in the summer, just harvesting the seed, which isn't too bad. So I think it would just be a lot easier on me in general, and allow me to be more flexible with working other jobs and things like that. So that's one of the reasons I'm kind of thinking towards gearing myself towards that. But obviously next year I'm going to have lots of plants to sell with what I'm growing right now, so might be a couple years. And like I said, maybe then I could even do small scale plant sales as well, where I still grow some stuff but just not as much as I have been up to now, because this year I'm growing a ton. Like, I'm growing so much, and just the amount of labor you have to put into it is so much. And I also don't necessarily feel like I'm getting out of it what I'm putting in. So I think, like, even if I did smaller scale plant sales, focus more on seeds, and maybe I could have a sale here, you know, once every month or so in the spring, and also do other events. Like I did one the other day where I was vending at this little local market with other vendors, and that was my first one doing that. That was cool. Doing more of that stuff. Have the occasional plant sale here. Maybe focus on building up my seed beds and stuff like that in the meantime, and also working another job on the side, because I'm just trying to make this more sustainable for me, even if I need to take a step back. I think that's important. A lot of people start a business and I think you're so focused on growing it, growing, but I feel like that can end badly as well if you're growing too quickly. A lot of people, I feel like, also think like when you start a business, you're making money like immediately. A lot of friends will ask you, "Oh, how's it going? How much are you making? A lot of money?" And I'm trying to be honest with people and be like, it's not going bad, but it's just not where it needs to be yet. And people's reactions can be really discouraging a lot of the times. Like one of the markets I was at the other day, my little booth was next to this other couple. And it was this guy and his wife, and he was there to support his wife's products. But I talked to both of them about it. They were lovely people. But the guy actually said something really encouraging to me. He has his own business too, very different from what I'm doing, but he actually gave me some like words of encouragement. And he says, like, if this is what you're passionate about, this is what you should do. And not many people will tell you that, to follow your passion and stuff like that. But that was actually really nice to hear, especially for someone else that has probably been through the struggle of starting a business and stuff like that. I've also realized, just in general, like, small scale farming is really hard to make it. Like, I've met other farmers too that are small scale, and like all of them are pretty much doing other things too on the side that aren't related. I feel like you need a really big operation and like a large amount of resources to really make significant amount of money. Like this year, one of the things I was planning, like I said earlier, I think the retail market is fairly small still for native plants, but the wholesale market is where like it seems like all the money is at for these big projects, for restoration, for landscaping, for things like that. Because you sell your plants cheaper, but you're selling a lot more of them all at once. So I'd kind of planned this year to possibly in the fall, depending on how much I'm left with, to do some wholesale sales as well. But the more transplanting and labor I'm putting into it this time of year, I'm realizing I don't know if that's really what I want to do or what's going to be most sustainable for me. And again, with like the market becoming more saturated as well, I'm like, I kind of started doing this because I wanted to make these plants more accessible. And now if the plants are becoming more accessible, I feel like maybe I should change my trajectory a bit. If you guys have any ideas, I'm definitely open to ideas if you want to comment down below, because I've been racking my brain over this a lot lately, and there's so many factors to consider, and you never really know what decision's going to be right until down the road when you've actually done it. So I don't know if there's much more for me to say than that right now, but if you made it this far, thanks for watching and listening to me ramble. Appreciate it as always, and I'll keep trying to do these updates, and yeah, hope you guys are all doing well. Take care.